Hi, we at New Milford Music Center would like to make sure that our students clean their instruments on a regular basis so that they'll play well and they won't have big expenses and repairs. We're talking about the brass instruments today, starting with the trumpet. And basically, you would have a tub of water, you would have, and we'll pretend there's water in here, lukewarm with a couple of drops of soap, dishwater soap, whatever. You don't want real hot water because it'll burn off the lacquer. You want to take your horn, whether it be the trumpet, trombone, baritone horn, tuba, whatever. Now when you get to the bigger instruments, you're going to have to put them in a bathtub because they're not going to fit a little sink or a tub like this. But we start out by pulling the slides apart, putting them in the water to soak. Now if you have trouble getting these out and you really can't get them out, you don't want to bang on them, do anything really serious because they'll bend real easy. Brass is a soft metal. You'll have to take it to the store or to your repairman and have him fix them. Usually that's an indication that you haven't cleaned your instrument on a regular monthly basis because they won't stick if they're properly lubricated and properly cleaned. So anyhow, we took the slides out, take the valve caps off, everything in water to soak. We take the valves out. Now here's an indication: valve 1, valve 2, valve 3. And most horns will have a number on it, right on the barrel of the valve. Tell you it's number 1, 2, or 3. Some older horns may not have that. They may have 1 dot or 3 dots, or they may have nothing. So you want to be careful when you take the valve out, just so you don't get in trouble. Swish it around in the water. You don't want to soak this because it's got springs and felts and stuff. Just swish the top part, the valve part around in the water. Set it down in order, 1, 2, 3. That way when you put them back together, you'll get the right ones in the right place. Again, swish them around, get them good and wet, let them soak a little bit. Okay, then you put the rest of the horn in the water. Make sure it's totally submerged. And let it soak for 15-20 minutes. Meanwhile, while you're doing that, you take a Q-tip, take your first valve, and basically just try to get any crud off. You go inside the little valve holes, openings, both sides. Go in there, and depending on how dirty your valve is, you'll end up with a very black Q-tip, and you'll have to do it some more. Do around the bottom. Just try to basically get that cleaned off as best you can. Take a little rag and wipe down the rest and set it aside. Go on and do the second valve and third valve, and your valves are done. By this time, your horn has been soaked for a little while. And by the way, you do want to also take the mouthpiece and soak it. And after they've soaked for a while, the first thing I do is take what we call a mouthpiece brush. These kits can be bought at most music stores. You go in and you just clean out your mouthpiece. Rinse it out, put it in some water, clean water, and rinse it out. Set it aside to dry. Now you also have valve brush. The valve brush goes in, or the valve casings are. Again, in, out. This really cleans those valve casings out and gets the crud out. It's a plastic brush. It's not real hard. Go in from both ends. And again, I usually just leave it in the water so it soaks, and then soak that again in the water. You then go with your snake. You've all seen your snakes. They got 2 ends on them. Eventually they'll wear out. But again, you wet your snake, push your snake through all the way. Do it a couple of times. Do the small sleeves. Get every one of those sleeves. And if it's really dirty, you're going to get real crud, so you want to keep washing it off. You can go down through the bell. Sometimes you got to uncurl the thing. Get it down so that it goes all the way down to the valve casing, around that corner. It'll push around that corner just fine. Okay, again, rinse it out. Now if you have some clear water under the faucet, it's a good idea just to stick it under the faucet and let it all clean out. And you got nice fresh, take your nice cotton cloth and wipe it all down, dry it out. Inside, you can't get all the water out of it, it's not really possible, but you want to get as much as you can. Shake it, set it down, and go on and clean out all of those slides that you took out. Now, one thing you do when you have the spit valve is fill it up with water and kind of make sure nothing leaks out. In other words, you open it up and it all comes out. But if you got a leak here, then you've either got to reposition it or you've got to get a new cork put on it. You can take it to your music store and get a new cork put on it. But again, rinse these out, set them aside to dry. You got all the pieces. Same logic. Your slide again, or your spit valve. The little valve covers that go on the bottom, again, you can use your Q-tip to clean them out because they usually get pretty dirty because all of the stuff is settling in the bottom of the valve. Rinse them off.